In recent seasons, the Cincinnati Bengals have been laughed out of the building when it comes to free agency moves, when it comes to making the wrong move, when it comes to not making moves at all. It seems like people have been all over the Cincinnati Bengals for those moves or lack of moves in free agency over the last few years. But they're not going to go down without a fight this season. They're looking not to be the team that picks first next year. They're looking to surround their first overall pick, who is most likely going to be Joe Burrow, with a team that can win this season. And I actually think the Bengals have made a couple moves here for their defense that's really going to help and really going to impact a defensive unit that, let's be honest, wasn't very good last year, but should be a heck of a lot better this year. DJ Reader, defensive lineman, one of the best on the market, one of the best interior defensive linemen on the market, has signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as cornerback from the Minnesota Vikings, Trae Waynes. I like both of these moves, and I'll let you know why right now. But before I do, spike the like button, and of course, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL free agency analysis just like this. Comment your opinion below. Bengals fans, what do you think of these two moves? Do you like DJ Reader? Do you like Trae Waynes? Do you think these two can help your defense? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, Trae Waynes, DJ Reader. These two guys are two impact players, both on the interior defensive line and at cornerback. Now, they let Denard go, so Waynes is basically replacing Denard in this defense. But Denard did not play the full season last year. I thought that they would go out and re-sign him. Obviously, Jacksonville was willing to pay him more money, so he left. As for Trae Waynes has been a solid starting cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings for the past few seasons, really since he was drafted. And I actually think he fits this defense very well. He fits this defense because really Minnesota plays a similar scheme, and he fit that defense, although the issue with Trae Waynes has kind of always been that he's a little handsy, he's a little too aggressive, and he does take too many penalties. I think if you had a good defensive coach who could maybe tune him up a little bit, I always felt that Trae Waynes could be a really good corner in this league. He has the potential to be a really good corner in this league, and he's shown promise in moments and really stood out in moments for me to say, you know what, if Waynes could just fix a little bit or tune a little bit, he'd be like a number one corner in the NFL. But he's a very solid number two. So if you have William Jackson on one side and Trae Waynes on the other, I think that's a very good corner duo. You know, it's not one of the best in the league, but it's certainly not one of the worst. And that's going a long way helping this secondary play man, play zone, whatever it may be. And both are versatile corners. Both can play man, both can play zone. And both have good height, but also the speed to cover a lot of these receivers in the league today. So I really like that they went out and they got aggressive and they tried to improve this secondary. Of course, this is a passing league today, and you need to improve that secondary. And corner position was a little bit of a need coming into free agency. But another need was getting a little bit younger on the defensive line, and that's where DJ Reader comes in. DJ Reader was perhaps the most underrated player on the market coming into free agency. This guy is the best interior defensive lineman you could have signed. Now, Chris Jones, franchise tag, so I don't include him. But DJ Reader was an absolute beast last year. PFF ranked him 7th last year, and if you're wondering where Trae Waynes ranked, he ranked 46th at the corner position, which would be like a middling number 2 corner in the league. But really, Trae Waynes was more of the number 1 corner for the Vikings last year because Xavier Rhodes, he stunk it up. So really, you're getting like a lower end number 1 corner as your number 2 corner in Cincinnati. So that's a good move. DJ Reader is a stud. He's specifically a stud versus the run, where Cincinnati has struggled in the last couple of seasons. And he's going to be an awesome impact player alongside Geno Atkins with Carlos Dunlap. All of a sudden, this defensive line is really, really good. I mean, you have at least 3 players that are tough to handle on the defensive line. Dunlap had a great season last year. Geno Atkins continues to play at a high level. Those guys are getting older, though. When you look at DJ Reader, he's a young player. He's just entering his prime now, and he's only been getting better after the last couple of seasons. I mean, DJ Reader has really upped his game year after year after year with the Texans. 6'3", 347. He's a monster of a man, and this is the type of defensive lineman that the Bengals typically don't have. Like, they didn't have one like this on their roster last year. You could argue maybe Billings, but Reader is a big-time upgrade over Billings. Reader is that impact defensive lineman that you needed. And yes, his sack numbers are not great, but he makes an impact. He's excellent versus the run. He might be, top 5 versus the run at the defensive tackle position. And this year, he really provided a little bit more of a pass rushing presence for the Texans. 2.5 sacks this year, but he did have 13 quarterback hits. He had a heck of a lot more pressures on the quarterback. He had a career high in tackles, and he was a big part of that Texans pass rush this year because J.J. Watt was hurt for a lot of the season, of course. So Reader kind of had to pick up the slack because Clowney wasn't there. So Reader became that number one guy that really offenses paid attention to and double teamed. And when you look at Reader, he's been mostly a nose tackle for his entire career. So now that he goes into a system where it's more 4-down linemen, he's not going to see as many double teams, and that's going to allow him to ramp up those sack numbers and get better one-on-one opportunities in the pass rushing department. So I love this move for the Bengals. I mean, anywhere Reader was going to go, I was going to love it, but I think the Bengals just being a little bit bold and going out there and making a play for one of the best young defensive players on the market, I really respect it. I really love it. And I don't think the Bengals are honestly that far away from doing damage and being a surprise team next year. I think they need to go out and they need to probably sign a linebacker or two, look at their offensive line offensively. But if they keep A.J. Green, their offense from a weapons perspective is good. If Burrow can do his part, I mean, this team's interesting, and definitely one to look out for. So I love these moves. I think they make them better in 2 areas on defense, and that's what it's all about for free agency. Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It's Mitch at the Bottom Line View. Peace out.